Today, it is my absolute pleasure to show you how we turned this pile of platforms that we started in the last episode into a fully functioning rocket fuel factory. Oh boy, I don't even know where to begin. This factory has so much going on. This looks wildly different than it did in the last episode, and I know that. And at some point in this video, we will hop on a secondary save, and I will show you how I'm using these blueprints combined to kind of build this factory. This factory does have really 3 main blueprints for the outside, and then we have just a couple blueprints on the inside for the refineries and the blenders. We also have the generator blueprints right here, and there are quite a few. This did take a fat minute to make, and obviously it's not completely done with all the details because I have to sync all these items and put the foundations back and such, but I think you guys get the gist of it. And one other thing, I'm a little undecided on this road. I'm not sure if we'll use it or not, but I want to just check it out and see if it'll work, but that's for something else. The real thing that we're here to look at is this factory. Now this thing took, I think, like 13 streams, and this really only took like 90 hours of gameplay. Maybe like 93, somewhere in that range, which is quite a lot, but that is over multiple weeks, which I think will tell you how long this video has been in the making. So we have our train entrances right here, and these are for the items that we went over last time. So this is our sulfur, coal, oil, and nitrogen gas. And then that last line is it's like the output. So the trains are leaving through this line and going back to our main highway. But man, I really like the front entrance here for the trains. Them just having their own little cubbies to come into, in which we can actually walk in if we wish. And we walk directly into the train station. Now we also have the man door over here. This is pretty much the only entrance besides the balcony entrances over there. But there's not really meant to have any access points from the highway or anything, which we may add in the future if we do trucks and we have some truck stations down in the foundation there. We may add in ways like that for Pioneers access. But for now, this is like the main entrance. And boy, our train stations are for the most part done. There are some little knacks that I have to kind of work out to, like a little base like this, where I probably will throw some pillars or something. But yeah, for the most part, all the train stations look the same, just like this. The only difference is this oil one. I'm undecided if I'm going to do this little lighting panel thing that has like the item. It may be worth doing. I'm not sure. I haven't decided on that fully yet. As of now, I've kind of taken a break from this area because we did spend like 2.5 weeks or so in a row building this. And so you can see I've experimented with throwing this little blueprint around. If you guys are curious on how to get this little pole thing, all you do is grab a large billboard or whatever billboard size you want, really. And when you place one down, you can see we can highlight the back end here, but we can actually highlight the pole that it sits on. Now we can middle mouse click. So on your scroll wheel, push down, not scroll, but push, and you can grab and sample an item that you're looking at. In this case, the buildable that we're looking at is this right here. Now, one thing I will say, a warning, do not press or hold E when you have this buildable out. It will instantly crash your game. So if we get out of this build menu and let's say we grab a wall or any other buildable, we hold E, we get a radial, or we can press E and cycle between the different buildables. If we do that with this pole out, it's going to search for other buildables within this category, and it just won't function because it doesn't have the full item attached to it, so it'll immediately crash your game. But you can place these down just like that, and you can pick them up and all that jazz, and you can remove them. You just can't press or hold E, so do not do that. Unless you want to crash your game. Maybe you want to, who knows? But yeah, that's just a little side note there. I am experimenting with different like signs and ads, if you will, just placing them around to kind of give the factories a bit more of a realistic vibe. But yeah, overall, the inside is relatively simple in comparison to the exterior, which is quite dense. And I will say that going on in the future, a lot of these factories won't be as kind of detailed on the exterior because I don't want to brick my save instantly with object count, which we are already above, for those of you who are wondering. But on the inside, we have these cool little doorways, which I think I've gone over past, maybe, I'm not sure, but they're pretty easy. This one is like a triple doorway, so there's 3 kind of stacked over the top of each other like this. You can just use nudge and get that in there. But I try to have lighting throughout the whole build on the inside, and most of the things are walkable. So again, we have more of these ad signs here, and then this is a big open balcony thing. This is the final product. So these are the refineries the blenders making the rocket fuel, and this basically leads us out to like a patio area. I haven't fully decided on the kind of the way to integrate this into the nature here, but we will do that eventually. This just wraps around and kind of stops here. And this is the backside. It's not fully finished. There's still some foundations I need to place down there. And the big part that's technically not fully finished that, again, I will have to come back for is this area. I'm not exactly sure how I want this to work because getting our walkways from like here to over there and also connected up top is a little bit of a task to make look good, and so please forgive me. And then this wall is not the interior is not done either, this big hallway here. So this is one of those other things because I'm a little undecided if I want to use windows here, if I just want to board them up, or what exactly to do here. But this backside on the inside and then that back walkway area by the blenders are the main things that I would have to address. But coming up to the main floor, which we have our refineries and a new addition, drone ports. Now, I'm not using these yet, but I do want the option to use these, and they are encased in glass, and they have their own little, this is a billboard, they have their own little exit hole, so they fly back a little bit and go straight up, both sides. And so if we want to use those, we can. And then I think we showed a lot of this before, but we have our packagers that I've just now encased with some lighting on the inside, and we have our refineries. Again, this doorway is kind of a theme throughout the build. This almost Star Wars looking doorway we've kind of decided on stream, just with the angled corner shape and like the blast doors themselves. Kind of looks like something out of Star Wars-ish. But I think you guys have kind of seen some of this before, whether you've seen it on streams or in the past video. I did show off these blueprints here. Something I will say, all of these blueprints are on Patreon and have been on Patreon for a little bit now. So if you want to grab these and use these yourself, or grab them and maybe edit them and kind of build off of them, you can do that, along with save files. So at the end of this month, I will be again uploading save files. So every month, at the end of the month, I upload the save file on whatever state it is in. That way people can walk around and do whatever they wish in the world, pretty much. But yeah, this is the fully enclosed hallway now, because before this was just big platform and open-ended. Now it's fully enclosed with all the lighting and stuff. And again, doorways, kind of a theme. And then this is again just like a logistic access. But yeah, this is the inside of the factory. The production is actually not that much. We have 28 refineries total, and that is including refineries to deal with the resin byproduct, which I'm not actually doing right now. I'm sinking it, and those guys are over here. So we may or may not use this, I'm not sure. And then we have our 7 packagers, slightly overclocked, because we need 10 realistically, but we only have room for 7. And then we have our blenders, which we have a line of 16 for the fuel, which we went over last time. And then we have the rocket fuel side, which is another 8, which are overclocked to 200%. So they're each producing 300, direct feeding 1 line of these generators out here. And that's pretty much the whole inside. It's pretty much big production floor with some logistic room, obviously. And then down here we have our train stations. And if you're wondering what's on the opposite side in the void here, it's literally just the void, nothing really else. We may turn that room into some truck station stuff, I'm not sure, but that is for future Kylo to deal with. And for those of you keeping track on the save, this is the 3rd completed build on the save. The first one being our starter factory, second one being our packaged diluted fuel, and our 3rd being, well, rocket fuel now. And some of you may be curious on why we're going directly for another fuel plant, and that is because starting now, we are going to be building big factories. Not anything super massive, but our next project, if you guys have seen the live streams, you already know, is a mix of 2 different factories. The primary goal is to make 12,000 concrete per minute, and that will supply a good amount of production for a while, along with uploading rates and stuff like that for dimensional depots, so we can afford some of these bigger blueprints. Because if I go look at the generator blueprint, for example, this one is only actually 146. Bad example. This foundation one is over 1100 concrete, which is kind of crazy. And to think of how many I have to place, that's a lot of concrete. And our dimensional depot only holds 2000 right now, so that's like maybe 2, and then I would have to fill back up. So if we have a high upload rate, we can kind of place more per minute, which is quite useful, and we don't have to go back and get materials as often. Definitely useful. And so my target is 4,000 upload per minute on the dimensional depots, and then the other 8,000 will be used for production for now, and that may change. Those numbers might change a little bit, but that's the target ratio. But to do that, we need a lot of water, and one thing that we're trying to do on the save is pretty much only use packaged fluids. So you'll see for the rocket fuel, we had to package oil and bring it up here from the blue crater. Now we don't have to, but it's a little too easy just to yoink water and oil and all that stuff from where I'm at. So I decided to forego grabbing any oil from the Spire Coast. In the future, we will package this and ship it to another location where we will build whatever we're going to build with the oil. But one of the rules on the save that I have is we're trying to use logistics more and more and more just for fun. And to do that, I need, well, a lot of water as well. That means I need to package that water as part of that rule. And to do that, well, we need a canister facility. So to get our concrete, we actually have to make a canister facility. Now this will also be functional in another way, not just to package water, because you can loop water back to itself. But we also need canisters because our packaged diluted fuel plant now is kind of obsolete. It only makes 20,000 megawatts. It's not really that great. So I'm thinking about repurposing this into permanently producing packaged fuel. It's already doing the diluted fuel part. We just need to stop the unpacking part and export it. But that also means we have to inject 1,600 canisters per minute to get the 1,600 packaged fuel. And so all this to say, we're going to make a good few canisters right about this area. And then the neighboring factory right next to it will also be making packaged water, which we then can send it to wherever we want. And something I've talked about before is that I'm going to do a limestone factory or concrete factory in the Rocky Desert. There is a ton of limestone already here. And so we have to import a little less so we can grab all this limestone and then also bring in more from the Dune Desert, and we can make a ton of concrete per minute, which we definitely need. One thing I was going to say is if you guys are curious on this build and how I did this, for one, it's all live streamed and all the VODs are on the channel in the live tab, but starting 1 week ago, I am uploading member-only videos that are no commentary build guides. So I'm just going to go rebuild these blueprints piece by piece in a video format. So it might be a 10-minute video and have me building one of these blueprints from start to finish. That way, if you guys don't really want to just take the blueprints from Patreon or something like that, you can just become a channel member and grab the videos there and learn how to build this sort of stuff yourself in a nice condensed way. Even if you already watched live streams, it might be worth for you. There is already 2 guides on the channel, and my goal is to do 1 a week of a different blueprint each week. We're going to start with the rock fuel stuff because I think some of these blueprints are the most dense and more advanced blueprints. But as we make blueprints on the save, we will be just releasing those videos. And if I start to get a lot of blueprints, I will start releasing more and more than 1 per week. Just as a disclaimer, the build guide videos will be available to all members. So any level of channel membership, whether that's just the level 1, which is like $1, or the level 3, it's all the same. So it's completely up to you. But something I wanted to touch on that's not really Satisfactory specifically is I really just wanted to say thank you guys. For the past couple of months, we have been streaming a ton, and I just appreciate all the support on both Twitch and YouTube. YouTube streams have been gaining some traction, and it seems more of you guys are stopping by and enjoying and just hanging out and building while we are building on stream. So again, a massive thank you. We are kind of on track to do 5K subs by the end of the year here on YouTube, and that's kind of insane because I pretty much started a year ago. We just hit 1K follows on Twitch, which is also insane because I've only been streaming for not even a year, and YouTube I've been doing for just over a year now. So if you guys are finding any of this interesting, or you want to learn how to do any of this stuff you're seeing, or you just like the builds, consider hitting that subscribe button down below and letting me know what you thought down below. And if you're dying to support any extra form, I do have Patreon where all save files and blueprints go, and we do stream on Twitch. A lot of people like supporting on Twitch if you guys are ever over there. But I think now I want to hop over to a different save and show you kind of how I put all these blueprints together to kind of make this factory. Okay, so I've hopped on a creative world here and I've loaded in these blueprints, and I want to show you the basic way that these kind of go together. So the first one we would grab out is our foundation blueprint. This one's pretty simple. You can either snap it to a grid that you already have like this, or you can do what I did and build pillars like this to snap it to, which makes it a little easier sometimes. But you just line it up like that, and then we can build it. So the next one that would snap to this is our foundation wall. Now this one doesn't love to snap in blueprint mode, so I just kind of place it on top and nudge it in, and they would set the edge of the foundation just like this. And we can place that one. And then the last one for the actual exterior of walls is the wall one. And this one actually can be snapped in blueprint mode. You just face it the right direction here, and you can see it just lines up perfectly, and we can do that. Now these colors are swatches, so you're going to want to load these into the designer, change the colors of, let's say, concrete and such to whatever it needs to be. If you want it to be white, or maybe you want it to be darker or whatever, and then you'd want to save over the blueprint. That way when you load them all in, they all have the correct color, because this one is taking on like a blue swatch. And then in between all of these blueprints, we did a little break. So we just followed the same curve pretty much with coated concrete, but just bring it up by one. They're the same angle, but we just bring it up by one like this. And then we just grab some double ramps, do it like this, and the ones on the starter factory are all copper because it's kind of the theme, honestly, but you can do whatever you wish. We do this, and then we just brought these up like straight up, and that's pretty much it for the exterior. A lot of it was this, and then just different spacing on different parts of the factory. But I do want to place down some of these generator blueprints. So if we line this one up with the edge of the corner, it's a little weird, but if we line these up right here, and we can place them there, and these will snap together like so. So we could just spam them down like this. We'd also snap them into the backside here, like mirroring each other, I should say. So we can do all of this, and then our connections are actually down below. So again, there is a color discrepancy on this save. So pillars down here, these are things that you'd want to load in and change, but all the connections are down here. So on one side, I have power connections where I can just grab power and go to the next blueprint, and you just do this all the way down and connect everything until it's all on the same grid. And then for the inputs, which are on the opposite side, we just have our T-junction ready to connect along with the pipe already connected into the generator. So all we have to do is grab it and connect down each one, and there's no way of getting around this stuff. You always have to connect your logistics and power in between blueprints. But something you can do, because I'm using streetlights, is that when you initially load in this blueprint, you put it in the designer, along with changing the swatches and stuff, you could also look at the streetlights here. So you can change the blueprint to be set to whichever color you wish. So let's say you wanted purple. You could have that, and the same as this one, so you could have whichever colors you wish. Again, you could just all do it in the blueprint and then save over it, and then it'll be whatever you wish. Again, all of these blueprints are on Patreon, and we are rolling out build guides for members on YouTube. If you want to know how we built this whole factory, you can check out the live streams, as we live stream basically everything we do on the save on both YouTube and Twitch. So whichever one is kind of a more convenient platform for you, you can view on. But I think that's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the build or any of these blueprints or anything like that, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and let me know what you thought down below in the comments. But I hope you have a good rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. And until next time, peace.
I'm slick with words, tongue sharp, you left in thirds. You pitching verbs, I knock it out, I'm flipping birds. While smoking herbs, I'm blocking out what often hurts. I'm moving herds, it's me, my family, money merge.